Hello everyone, this is Yuti Doshi from Man Mantra Mental Health. Welcome to episode 2 of Sunday Stories. Today our topic is about teenage mental health and we have with us Dr. Rahul Khemani. He is a psychiatrist with 5 years of experience. He is a visiting doctor with Wokat Hospital's Mira Road and Tunga Hospital, Malad. He also has a private clinic in Borivali, the Heart and Mind Clinic. So I'm really happy and excited to have you with me, Dr. Rahul. Over to you.
Thank you, Yuti, for this wonderful, warm introduction. Good day, everybody. As Yuti has already told, I am a Pagloga doctor. Oh, no. That is not one of the words that we use nowadays. That is actually something that we should never say to a person who is going through a mental health problem. Pagal, crack, all these words, in fact, trouble the person more, disturb the person more. You need to remember that mental health is as important as physical health. So today's topic is teenage mental health. Particularly, this is where the seeds are, where we are going to allow them to grow into plants. So over to you, Yuti.
So when we talk about teenage mental health, the thing that comes to my mind is what are the most common issues, that are found in teenagers? Because this is the phase from them turning from children to adults, right? A big transformational stage. So what are the most common things that they go through?
So as we know, the most common problems that teenagers or adolescents face is stress, anxiety, depressions, which everyone has heard of. Other things that are also common are substance use disorders, where kids or teenagers take drugs, eating disorders. Then you have the problems where you have problems in studying, like attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, learning disorder. And most importantly, one more problem that not many people recognize is body image concerns, where you start feeling weird about yourself.
Hmm.
So yes, these are
Okay.
one of few of the common. There are still more illnesses that teenagers go through,
Hmm.
but let's focus on these for today.
Okay. So, of course, describing all of them in one short video is not going to be possible. But I really want to know how these mental health issues affect a teenager.
So the most important part over here is yourself first. So anyone going through stress, anxiety, depression will recognize on his own the personal distress that he has, he or she. It's very burdening. You can't do anything. You constantly feel limited, capacitated, that you can't do so many things. Kids going through body image issues constantly feel threatened by other people looking at them. Kids going through attention deficit disorder, learning disorders, constantly feel difficulty in studying. Then there is the family part, where the family does not understand what the child, the teenager is going through. They try to help them, but they are not helpful. They might in fact get distressed because of the same thing. They are completely in a state of confusion. This is just one part of it. The other part of it includes where these problems, once identified, these kids go through the stage of stigma, where other kids will tease them. They go through bullying. They are pulled into the part where they are called names. Because of these things, it leads down to poor academic performance. There's a decline into every aspect of their life. And lastly, kids go taking substances, drugs. These kids obviously will partake into any risky situations. They might consume these drugs and drive, get into accidents, and unfortunately untimely deaths.
Hmm. So, so just a small mental health issue might have such a big impact on a child's life. I think this is a really critical stage where parents need to be very much observant and patient with their children and try and understand what their child is going through. But uh, this is also a stage where teenage communicate with their parents the least. So, how can a parent try to find out, or I would call it, what are the indicators, that how will I identify that my child is going through something?
That's a very nice question that you've put across, and most of the parents would want to know about this. So, as I explained in how these issues affect the teenagers, I'll explain that you will most commonly see that the teenager or the adolescent will socially withdraw himself from everybody. You will see that they have started communicating less with their family members. They don't communicate with their friends as much as they used to. They don't suggest things as they used to. They don't prefer going for outings. Some of the adolescents or teenagers would spend more time outside and come back home very late. And most commonly you see disturbances in their biological activity, where you suddenly see them not eating enough or not sleeping adequately. They suddenly wake up in the middle of the night feeling scared. These are part of stress anxiety. Other things also that are affected is their studies as they are going through college. So most of these kids show a declining academic performance once they were extremely good at studies, and then suddenly you just see they're not able to perform as well as they used to. Other things also include kids who are consuming substances. They substances as in drugs. You will see that they suddenly are partaking into it more and more, and because of consuming these drugs they will obviously end up into getting into accidents, or as I said, any risky behavior like driving too fast or going to places which are unsafe for them.
Right. So, I mean, uh, these are the indicators which are really serious to be looking after for. But I really want to know that in this age, as I said earlier, teenagers don't communicate much with parents, right? So if a child is consuming drugs or doing certain things outside the house, how can a parent understand about it?
Again, something that we need to absolutely look out for. So over here, the most common thing again you will notice is that the child has started avoiding talking to the parents. They have started coming home late. They are spending unnecessarily and excessively, and they can't explain where the pocket money is going, and they might ask for more. Some of these teenagers or adolescents, when they don't receive the pocket money, they might end up stealing from home. And you might see that there are extreme personality differences in them. They come home with red puffy eyes, they look a little dizzy, they might spend a lot of time inside the washroom, and you might feel that they have certain odd smells coming from them, as you know, that comes from alcohol, tobacco, or cannabis, ganja commonly called as.
Hmm.
So these are some of the small signs that you can look for. But most importantly, anything that you feel is completely odd or different, you have to suspect that they could be consuming drugs always.
Right. Also, we avoid talking about drugs so commonly, but I think it's a fact that they are so easily available these days, right? Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, seeing all these signs and symptoms in a teenager and seeing these indicators, what are the other risk factors that influence in the declining of mental
So over here, let's divide these risk factors coming from outside towards inwards.
health? Okay.
The most common risk factors that we can see outside are the neighborhood that the child is brought up in and the school that they go to. So looking at the neighborhood, the place where they are staying,
Hmm.
whether it's a slum area, how developed is the area, where, such as you said, drugs are very commonly and easily available. What are the kind of friends they form in while they are growing up. And as you can see that certain places are very common for natural calamities. So any kind of heavy rains and you get stuck at home, you are unable to study properly because of those things.
Hmm.
Coming to the factors in school, this is where you've developed the first time your friends.
Hmm.
This is where you come across your peers, and these peers may give you a positive peer pressure or a negative peer pressure, where negative is definitely going to be harmful. They teach you all the different kinds of how you consume drugs, how you get into activities that are not suitable for you. Those same kids limit your academic performance. These are the most common things that you can see among your friends. But then also the standard, the way your school treats you, how the school imparts information and knowledge, how the teachers will help you. So most of these things are luckily under regulation and come up to the standard, but then there are a lot of places where these are not kept up to the requirements. These are the external factors. Coming to your own home environment where you stay with your family matters to you a lot. The way you see them, the way you grow up looking at them, you mimic them. So when your parents are bickering or fighting about things, you get disturbed by those things. You understand that this is how relationship happen. This is how your relationship should also be. You are constantly under stress because if your family member is going through some problem, if they can't express love to you, they don't give you a safe space to talk. And now most importantly is the physical and or sexual abuse that certain teenagers, adolescents go through. And since you are unaware of what is happening to you, you get disturbed by it, you become scared because of it. And especially girls who undergo child sexual abuse have a lot of problems as they grow up then.
Right. There's a lot of
Finally
trauma.
come a lot. And finally coming to the individual factors over here, where how you have your own temperament, your own personality, how you are able to handle the stress that comes to you. Not every teenager or child who goes through the same stress will end up with the same problem. There are some teenagers or adolescents who grow up in the worst conditions, but they fight it and they can come out of it. So we are not going to only blame the external factors, but we are going to look inwards and allow ourselves to feel strong too. These are our own resilience factors. And lastly, coming to a point where we need to understand our own sexuality. So as an individual, we are recognizing our own sexuality in the age of teenage or adolescence.
Right.
And if in case someone gives us a bad information about it or scares us about it, and we are taught about it in the wrong manner, we feel extremely suppressed and scared. And this is one important issue that every parent, friend, teacher, or a professional should teach a teenager and
Hmm.
allow them to choose their own orientation into it.
So uh, basically, there are so many factors, and it's an interplay of all of these factors that influences a teenager's mental health. And I mean, this is really, really interesting to know. And I hope more parents understand and be more observant about their teenagers. Uh, so, coming to after talking about all these issues, I also want to know how to cope up with them. Okay, I identify that my child is going through this, or I, as a teenager, understand that there is something wrong and I need to deal with it. So, then how do I cope up?
So let's look at an approach where we can clearly identify at which stage the teenager has gotten diverted and the problem is where it is. So where they get stuck into. So I have divided it into a simple mnemonic called as heads.
Okay.
Let's look at the presentation. So over here, heads is into 6 parts. The first part is So the first part is where you look at your own home, where we try to figure out where the child lives, how long they have been staying, whether they have been frequently moving around, who lives with them, the parents that are there with them, any other family members that are there with them. We need to understand whether these teenagers, they feel safe at their own home, feel safe in their own neighborhood, whether these parents make them feel comfortable in their own home, and how is the food that they get and the other amenities that are available for them. So this is where we figure out about their home. Coming across to the second part, where again is an equally important part of your life, that is education, where we need to understand where the child goes to school, whether they have kept on changing schools. So that automatically affects how you obviously change your friends as well, change your equations with people, how it affects your academics also. Because of that, you need to notice the academic, how the part, whether it's declining or it's stable or it's not improving, it's stuck at a point. So education is an equal part over here too. Then coming to the next point, which is the activities the kid likes to do, the fun that he wants to have, or the friends that he usually hangs out with. Does the teenager has a best friend? Does he communicate with the best friend? Or nowadays a lot of adolescents are helping their family members by getting a small job here and there. So how is their workplace environment? These are the activities that you are getting involved in. So also the part where you work out, whether you do exercise, what eating habits you have, it's basically about yourself, whether the teenager is taking care of themselves. So coming to drugs, where you need to understand whether, as I had explained already elaborately, that how the kids will, take drugs, partake into activities, whether they notice their friends taking drugs and how strong they are to refuse them. So over here also we need to understand how strong they are into refusing it. Then coming to any suicidality or self-harm behavior, where have they been having any thoughts about hurting themselves, whether they have tried any such things. Is it because they are feeling sad about certain things? Have they tried to even run away from them? Even that is an indicator of self-harm. And one last thing that I would like to add in suicidality is also that a lot of teenagers and a lot of adolescents are partaking into self-harm by using razors in school, dividers, and you don't understand um, where they do that, because they are extremely good at hiding it. So these factors come into play with even the small minor fights that they have with their friends and things that they feel disturbed about. So these commonly happen in school, and over here the teacher and the counselor play an extremely big role over there. And finally, coming to sex over here, this is one part that a lot of people feel extremely shy to talk about, but this is something that you should feel extremely comfortable explaining, because this lays the groundwork of the child's future sexual activities. You need to understand that as a child is growing up, he may get involved in masturbation, how comfortable they feel with that. Then in regards to whether they are how comfortable with the opposite sex or the same sex, when if their orientation is towards them, have they experienced any sexual activity, any kissing or some sort, or do they have knowledge about safe sexual practices? Since they are growing up, they are going to explore such ideas, and it is always better for them to know about these things from either a parent, teacher, or a professional, rather than from either internet or their friends, where they may get half-baked knowledge and they may end up into positions where they might regret later on. And these commonly lead to these teenagers getting into stress, anxiety, and depression. So over here we have identified where the problem lies. Now once we know that which
So,
part of the child.
just
Yes.
just to paraphrase what you just said, the first step in coping with mental health issues is using the HEAD
Yes.
acronym, HEAD
Approach.
technique, right?
Absolutely.
Where
And
H
this can
stands
be.
for home, E is for
Yes.
education, A is for the
Absolutely.
activities they do, D is for drugs, S is for and another S
Sex and
is for
suicidality.
suicidality. Okay, okay, great.
So this is the point where you figure out where the problem is, and this can be applied very easily by parents, teachers, or any person who takes care of these teenagers or adolescents. Even the teenagers themselves can recognize where the problem lies, and that at least starts helping them towards taking an active step. Now, most commonly, after you have recognized, you need to understand that the the parents or the family who is with these teenagers and adolescents, they need to create a safe place where the kids, the teenagers, can talk about their problems. They should feel extremely comfortable talking about these things. It should allow them to empathize with such things. To you should give them the option of advices where they might be able to cope with these challenges. Also, there are certain things that you can talk to your teenagers about these things. Like for example, you can tell them that even adults have problems and they find difficulty into solving them too, and that is why they need the help of someone. So it should not be something that they should feel that it is their own responsibility.
Right.
It is always something that they should feel comfortable in expressing rather than confining into them.
Hmm.
Also tell them that it is not unusual for these problems to come in life, and it is going to be a part and parcel of every day. Tell them that they can always feel comfortable in talking with any person that they want to. It can be a friend, it can be a teacher, it can be a counselor in your school, or it can eventually be a mental health professional. And always tell them that these things will remain confidential with whoever they speak, so that they can always feel comfortable talking about it.
Right.
Finally, coming to the part where what a family can do for themselves at their own place for the kid to feel safe, so they can show love, affection to their children or their adolescents. They can create an environment where they spend a lot of time with these
Right.
teenagers. Let them know that they are involved in certain things. As you can nowadays see in a lot of WhatsApp memes and everything, that everyone is just stuck with their own mobile phones. They're
Right.
just working individually.
Hmm.
So find group activities, play games. Particularly, a lot of people have learned such things in the lockdown phase right now.
Yes.
Help them deal with the problems rather than allowing them to give up and move on to the next problem, because eventually that problem will gain upon you.
Right.
And
So I
lastly,
think
since
how parents deal with their own issues also impacts how they teach their children. You know. So I
absolutely,
think mindful parenting really comes into play over here.
yes, very much. And most importantly, you need to understand over here that they will mimic you. They will
Mhm.
look at you solving problems and they will try to solve the problems in the same way. So
Right.
when you tell your children not to consume drugs, not to smoke, you need to be aware that even if you are doing that or you are getting involved in such activities, they are going to look at you and eventually going to copy you. So these things matter a lot to a growing child, because as I said, this is the seed, and the water that you put will lead the child to grow in that particular way.
Right.
Finally, these are just the ways where you can cope with things. But eventually, if you feel that things are out of hand and you want to just even talk with somebody, let them know that a mental health professional, a psychiatrist or a psychologist will always be present to help them. Let them know that this is not a hue and cry about such a thing, and make them feel comfortable consulting a psychiatrist or a psychologist as simple as just going to a dentist for a dental cleanup or going to a general doctor to check for their fever or something.
Right. Coming to what you said about consulting a psychiatrist, it is still a taboo to go to a psychiatrist and taking dimag ki dawai, you know. So, what do you have to say about that?
I absolutely understand the parents and teachers where they feel scared about medications and medicines, and they say that ये तो नींद की दवाई है, डॉक्टर तो हमें तो नींद की दवाई देंगे. So these are not sleeping pills, or as commonly as I said, नींद की दवाई. These are medicines which help to resolve your symptoms. जो तकलीफ है उस चीज को treat करेगी,
Right.
and eventually it will help you normalize things better with other children, with other teenagers, with other adolescents. See, there are certain things that are deficient in you, and these medicines help you cope with it. This is not something that is unnecessary or additional. A lot of parents or caretakers ask me questions कि हमें इसकी आदत तो नहीं हो जाएगी,
Yeah.
हमें जिंदगी भर तो नहीं लेनी पड़ेगी. See, when you take medications for fever, when you take medications for pain, when you take medications for infection, these medicines are obviously required. The same way, these medicines are also required. तो जब उन दवाइयों की आदत नहीं पड़ेगी तो ये दवाई डेफिनेटली आदत नहीं पड़ेगी, है ना?
Right. Right.
These
Right.
medicines are just going to eventually help you cope what with as much as other children or teenagers can. Let me give you an example over here.
So,
For example, a child going through attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is unable to pay attention in classroom. He's extremely hyperactive, keeps running around. So these things is obviously going to affect the child's academics, and eventually हो सकता है कि the child will not go on to the next stage of their life. They might be discriminated from other children. They might lag out. and then they develop these self-esteem issues, self-confidence issues. So over here, these medicines will obviously help them focus more, concentrate more. So when something is helping you so much, how can it harm you?
Right. So here I think we end with our session. Dr. Rahul, this session was really, really informative. Starting with
It was
the,
absolutely
I'll
my
just
pleasure.
I'll just recap what we spoke about. We
Absolutely.
started with the most common issues, and we also spoke about what are the indicators that help us understand and find out the mental health issues in a teenager, the risk factors that are involved, and how do we cope up with them. And you gave us a really nice acronym, the HEADS acronym, to recognize and identify these issues. So thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you.
It was absolutely again my pleasure. And any parent, teacher, or caretaker watching this video, feel free to ask questions either to Yuti, as you know her very well, and either to me, as I'm available on Instagram as on the ID Psychiatrist Speaks. You can feel free to ask me as anonymously as you want, and I try to answer it as in the best capacity as possible.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.